What is happening, guys? It is Monday and we are at the Hack and Pack Shop. I got a little project I figured I'd bring you guys along. I did a bunch of work on this Tahoe. It's a 2002 Tahoe. It belongs to Civic Boy 123 right here off of the good old YouTube. We got to do a little wet sanding and buffing. I painted this quarter panel from the stripe down. Hit a bunch of rust here, little rot back here. Okay, did the door bottoms. What else do we do on this thing? Did the door bottoms on this side, did this back door, did the bottom of this quarter, stripe down, and a little bit on the bottom of these back doors. But I'm going to use this door as an example for our video today. So what I did here is I sprayed the door pretty much from here down. Okay, you can see, obviously, we have a real nasty looking blend right here. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. Okay. You can see where it transitions from shiny to dull up here, okay? There's a little bit of crap in the paint, okay? A little bit of orange peel, a little bit of dust. That happens here, guys, okay? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to wet sand and buff this door, okay? And I'm going to do a little buffing down the side of it here. You can tell the gloss is a little bit different, okay? And same thing with this quarter. We're going to wet sand and buff this. And I know a couple of you guys have asked me for a wet sand and buff video, and you've also asked me about blends. Okay, unfortunately for you guys today, I've already done all the paint work, so today we're just going to discuss and do a video on how to get rid of this nasty looking blend here, okay, and how to make the finish smooth. Alright, so these are basically the last steps of what we as body shop guys do to your vehicles before we deliver them to you, okay? It's not just as easy as taking a car and painting it, putting it together, and shipping it out the door. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of prep work involved. There's a lot of just a lot of time in general, okay? You have to wet sand and buff, you have to do some polishing, you have to do a lot of cleaning, okay? Sometimes waxing, taping. I mean, there's so much to a job. That's why, you know, most body shops charge between $40 and $60 an hour. Alright, the stuff is not cheap. The tape, the material, none of this stuff is cheap. The wet sandpaper we're using today is $1 a sheet, okay? I mean, the stuff is not, it's not cheap and it's not free. Okay, the buffing compound, a quart of buffing compound is $50. All right, but it's all stuff that we have to carry as people that do this kind of work for a living. We have to inventory all this stuff at our shops to get the job done. A $150 fender job, you know, you have to have $500–600 worth of inventory laying around just to do that $150 job. You have to have the clear coat, you have to have the paint, you have to have the tape, the paper, the Scotch-Brites, the sandpaper. Okay, it doesn't cost us that, but that's how much inventory is laying around that we're just kind of picking out of here and there to do the job, okay? So, I'm going to set you guys down on a tripod. Well, it looks like I got to put you on a charger first. And we're going to go ahead and wet sand and buff this panel. And hopefully you guys will be able to see the difference here. I am on the better lit side of the shop, but unfortunately we're still not picking up as good as I want to here. There we go. You can see it now real good. Okay? So let me throw you on the charger for a minute, and we're going to come back and we're going to go ahead and get this job done. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do to prepare this thing to buff it is we're going to tape off this door handle, this rubber molding, these door seams, okay? Because that's one thing you do not want, is to have that white buffing compound in all these little nooks and crannies, okay? This is just kind of a precautionary thing. It saves a lot on the cleanup, okay? So I'm just running a little bit of tape down here, just so we don't get it in these seams. This is stuff that I never used to do in the past, and it cost me so much time. You don't have to cover the whole window, you don't have to cover the whole door handle, but just as long as you get the crack in between the door handle and the paint, anywhere where that buffing compound is going to just kind of build up, okay? So basically you just kind of want to overlap the tape a little bit into the paint. And this is also where you got to hope that you prepared this area thoroughly, because the paint will flake off if you did not prepare it correctly. Okay? Just a little precautionary measure. And it will save time in the long run. Alright, you don't have to be, you know, perfect with it and fussy with it. You just don't want that white compound to get in all those nooks and crannies. And unfortunately, here in this shop, I do not have running water. So it's not like I can buff it and just wash it immediately. All right, the buffing compound comes off the easiest when it's wet. All right, but I do not have water in the shop. So for all you guys that have been saying that I should get a pressure washer, that is the only reason why there is not one here. Because I do not have running water here. But it is handy living in the apartment right next door, so I can just run down and grab water as I need it to do these little jobs. But unfortunately, I can't wash cars here, okay? So I'm just going to kind of go around this door handle half-ass is what I'm doing, just so I don't hit the plastic with that buffer, okay? Like I said, you don't have to cover the whole thing up. You basically just want to get it so if your buffer touches the edge of it, it's not going to leave a freaking nasty white smudge on that black plastic trim. Okay? Next thing we do, got a piece of 2000 here that's been soaking. Alright, brand new piece of wet dry paper. You want to fold it in 3 pieces. Fold it in 3s, just like that. Okay? Take a rag and get your whole area kind of nice and wet. And at the same time, you're kind of rinsing any dirt and debris and things like that off. And another thing too, the reason why I use the green tape is it's a little bit thicker and it's easier to peel off. If you get that white tape just a little bit wet, you're screwed. You're going to be picking glue off for a week. Alright? So like I said, just kind of half-ass wash all the dirt off the area that you're working on. And you want to take your wet sandpaper here. Make sure it's nice and wet. And you see how I'm holding it? Now I'm not getting real tight up around this door handle because the buffer, I mean, you know, you got to have a little bit of room to work. You're not going to be able to get a buffer into a little teeny nook and cranny. All right? So you always want to leave like a ½ inch around the area that you're sanding between any adjoining door handles, trim, anything like that. Otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of hand rubbing. You just physically won't get the buffer pad down in those little nooks and crannies. Another thing too, when you're wet sanding, if you start hearing a little bit of a squeaking noise, stop. You've got a piece of dirt in between your fresh paint and your piece of sandpaper. You always want to make sure you keep the area nice and wet and clean. Now I'm not going hog wild on this, okay? Basically I'm just knocking down some of the orange peel and knocking down the dust and debris out of it. It's a little bit chilly in here, but I had to shut the heat off so you guys can hear me. But I'm just basically knocking out 80% of the crap. Alright, that's another thing with a sandpaper. See what it just did? It'll wad up. Alright, this is not a 3M brand sandpaper, and this cheaper brand sandpaper does do that. That's why I prefer to use the 3M brand stuff. It's a lot more solid of a paper. And then up here in our blend areas, we're just going to go over it really light. Now, so what I did to actually blend this door, I didn't even use blender, I just used lacquer thinner and a paint gun. I've had really good luck doing that too. We'll just do a little bit more. I see a couple little dust spots here I want to take care of. And you guys don't want to bust my balls about my Bluetooth. The reason why I have this stupid thing is the ear speaker in my phone blew. So every time somebody called, that's all I heard was crackling. So it was either buy a new phone or spend $30 and buy a Bluetooth. So I figured the Bluetooth is just a lot handier anyway. Alright, so there we go. Now I'm just going to leave this nice and wet, okay? Next thing, buffer, you want to make sure you have a clean pad on it, okay? I've used this pad once. It's pretty clean. It's still soft, okay? If the pad's hard, no good. Start the buffer up, run a screwdriver down it, okay? Or something, you know, and knock all that freaking nasty crap off there. 3M Perfecta compound, okay? Purple bottle, this is what I use. Now, what I do to save a lot of a mess is I actually take this compound and I put it right on the buffer. Okay? Don't need a ton of it. And just kind of smear it around. Now this is the messy part, okay? Because this area is still wet, it's gonna sling shit everywhere. Alright? So if you're in halfway decent clothes doing this job, you might want to change, throw an apron on, something. I'm in work clothes, so I really don't care, okay? Don't have anybody to impress here. And this buffer too is only a single speed, it's not a variable speed, so because it's kind of a faster single speed, you got to keep moving with it. You don't want to stop in one spot and hold that thing down or you're going to burn your brand new paint up. Basically, is what I'm doing is I'm just kind of visualizing it here, seeing if I see any sand scratches in it, anything like that. There still is a little bit of orange peel in it, but I'm really not going to worry about it. It's a 10-year-old vehicle. Okay, it's one of those low-budget jobs, like most of them that we do here. All right. This compound will dry up too, so you got to really watch that. That compound gets dry and that buffer hits that pretty good, is what it's going to do, is it's going to burn the paint. Now what we'll do is we'll take this tape off of here. Yeah, there is still compound like on the windows and things like that, But it's a lot easier to clean than down inside of these cracks. This stuff is a bitch to get out. Especially because the compound's naturally white, it dries white. Okay, and it's terrible. As what I'll do is I'll go and grab a clean cloth. And I'll wipe all this off here. See what we got. Looks like we got a little bit of compound in here, so I'm going to real quick get that out of there before it dries. I'm telling you guys, once this compound dries, it's a bitch to get off. You're going to be chasing it for a long time. Many car washes. Trust me. Especially on darker color vehicles. On a white or silver vehicle, it's not as bad, especially a white car. But anything that's a semi-dark color, yeah, it's a mess. Let's open this door, wipe the crack out. And there you have it. Got you plugged in here. Let me unplug you. Blend area looks good. You can see a couple streaks here though from the buffing compound, which we'll get that off. But it's a pretty good seamless blend. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see it. And there you have it. Now what we'll do is I'll just take the buffer, I'll lightly go over the rest of the truck, okay? Because that's part of the job in this. You just wanted me to hit the rest of it with a buffer. And then we'll go ahead and lay a new pinstripe down it and call it a day. So what I'll do is we'll conclude it for this video, and in the next video we'll show you how to do some pinstriping. Later, guys.